At 1,000 subscribers, I will be giving away a starter ship package to one of you, so make sure to like or dislike and subscribe to participate and help me get there. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Star Citizen has a lot of ships, and more importantly, ship manufacturers. My first video was quite a divisive one, discussing the flaws with Crusader and its main principles as a brand, as well as its primary flaws when compared to others like Origin and Drake. And it's one of those brands that I'd like to discuss today. Now, although many of you fairly argued against the points I made about Crusader, I'd hazard a guess and say this video will be a lot less polarizing, because we're talking about Drake, and why it consistently produces some of the best ships in Star Citizen. I think you'd have a hard time flying around Stanton without seeing a dozen Cutlass Blacks, Cutters, or Caterpillars, and there's a plethora of reasons for that. Drake is sort of known for making unreliable rust buckets, but ironically, this very thing makes Drake the single most reliable brand in the game. No one ever expects a Drake ship to be there for you, or guide you through something. It is only as powerful as the person flying it, and that level of responsibility on the player means you will never be caught off guard or disappointed by the ship. If an Origin ship breaks, you won't be expecting it and may not have a backup plan. But on the other hand, Drake is the backup plan. You walk into it knowing exactly what you'll need to prepare for to ensure that nothing goes wrong. There's also the matter of cost. Drake ships are cheap, so at the end of the day, damaging one isn't nearly as heartbreaking as losing a much more valuable ship. Hell, you could say that scratches, dents, and malfunctions just add to the charm of the vessel. Drake ships are incredibly simple. The equipment isn't stored behind fancy doors, there are no decorative angles or surfaces. Drake is as bare bones as it gets, and that means it is about as practical as it gets too. In my Crusader video, I complained a lot about wasted interior space. There's no such problem aboard any Drake ship. Every inch of space is barren, untapped potential for the player to mess around with. The styling of Drake itself is also quite immersive. No matter how fancy a ship is, there's nothing more satisfying than hearing the creaks and groans of a Drake ship. The massive strapped-on engines, the doors and elevators in desperate need of WD-40, it all feels so tangible and lifelike in comparison to other ship brands that do their very best to astound you with alien technology and opulence. And although these things are cool to marvel at from time to time, I always find myself returning to the comfort of a simple Drake ship, because it just feels more alive. Drake is also known as the rebellious brand. It doesn't stick to code and appeals mainly to pirates and slam runners. As a result of this, Drake ships take every opportunity to strap an absurd amount of guns and equipment to each ship. To some, it may be considered overkill, but to Star Citizen players, it just means more fun. The lore can often hold back certain brands like Anvil and Aegis, saying things like civilian versions of warships, and so on. But these superficial lore excuses just serve to make ships less interesting and overall less effective than they could be. You always feel as though you're being cheated out of something better, but you will never feel that way with a Drake ship. Aside from the obvious fact that Drake has a massive variety of ships, it's important to note that the simplicity of their designs means there's a higher chance of Drake backlog releasing sooner than others. The final argument I'd like to make is more of a personal one. Drake ships make you feel like the main character. Is it cringy? Yes. But is it true? Also yes. When you're in a Drake ship, you're an underdog, a pirate, or a daring explorer. Every win feels earned, and that's how it should be. Drake makes you feel as though you're beating the odds, and doing it with a bucket of bolts. There's truly nothing better than Drake in Star Citizen. Okay, other than Argo, but we're going to discuss that another time. I'd love to know what you think about Drake and this video in general. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day, bro.